Farmers and environmental groups now suing the Trump administration over the decision to pause critical grants. The challenge includes those part of a $300 million program to be able to help farmers install energy efficiency upgrades to their farms. The lawsuit also says the farmers have already made purchases and entered into contracts related to the program with money that they won't be able to get back. All right, let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Calif Rhodes to this conversation. So first, let's lay out this argument so that everybody understands what's going on.
Well, I mean, the biggest argument is that this money was already appropriated through Congress. Let's look at it. They're talking about IRA, Inflation Reduction Act. Congress said we're going to send about $20 billion with a B dollars to folks to make sure that we can bring back our economy. And part of that, some of those dollars were going to farmers. They're saying about $12 billion have not been released. USDA was saying, look, we're not going to release these funds as part of our way to be efficient. The way I look at this is the argument boils down to one man's trash is another man's treasure. One person's reduction or cutting or attempting to be efficient is another person saying, I've been paid. I got contracts. I have folks that need to be paid. Now I'm going to lay these guys off. If you're attempting to be efficient with government spending, I think normally it works moving forward. We're going to be efficient today. What this administration is attempting to do is to be efficient with yesterday's money, money that's already been earmarked, money that's already been contracted, agreed upon to be given to someone else. And so now if you're saying we're going to slash funding, we're going to slash spending, slash it as you move forward. That's what they're saying. Do not slash money we've already contracted to agree with to be able to have access to getting.
Just what you said, one man's seed is another man's crop. When you look at that, though, do the farmers and environmental groups, do they have a chance with this?
100%. I mean, there's a contract. You can't stop it. So them freezing it, them delaying it, their argument will always be we're attempting to ensure that it complies with and is consistent with the executive orders from the president. Okay, you can do that. In an attempt to do that, you've just delayed it. And anyone that's ever done government contracting, anyone that's ever received government funding recognizes one thing. The government pays slow. So either you're going to be a net 30, which means you do the services now and get paid 30 days later, or net 60. But these are services they've already agreed to. They've built these solar panels. They've contracted with these other organizations that, look, I need your services, I'll get the money from the government. And normally it doesn't work like that. One of the surest things ever is a government contract. If I know that I have a government contract, you can count that as money in the bank because I recognize that they will pay me. If I get a contract with a business, it's a percentage that they may not give me my money. But with the United States government, overwhelmingly, if you get a contract with them, you can count that as being paid.
Well, bringing it back to the farmers, I mean, when you talk about somebody on a farm that has already now put their money in for the seed, for their crops to be able to grow and are looking for this money now, these lawsuits, they take a long time. They do. Even if they win, at this point, I mean, when could they actually really see some money?
The wheels of justice turn slow, and so that's the part that I understand and appreciate that you are bringing up, is that, first of all, for me to get to the point where I have to bring a lawsuit means that I feel like I've exhausted all of my remedies. I've communicated with you. I've attempted to say, hey, you know you have this contract. This money's supposed to come my way. Where is it? And I'm not getting a response. I'm getting a dead end. And at some point now I have to engage an attorney, pay them money to file a lawsuit. And so that process of getting the court to release these funds is long. It is lengthy. If a judge gives a declaratory judgment that says these are contracts and grants that have to be released, it should be rather quick. But then this administration has to comply with the court's order. And so it's a double answer. I think you can get a quick remedy. Can you get quick action? It really just depends on this administration answer.
And really from our reporting, what we found is at this point, you might have some farms that actually go under.
100%.
Because that money is not there, and they need that money to be able to help them to be able to have their crops grow. Calif Rhodes, we appreciate your insight as always. Thanks so much.